So, welcome everyone. Today I'm so happy to present Joanna Mary, who is an intuitive, a healer, and she's really into mermaids and angels, and she knows a lot about crystals as well. So, Joanna is actually part of one of our secret groups. So I get to chat with her almost every week. And today we're going to talk a bit about what you do, Joanna, and a bit more about like your spiritual practice and a couple of things related to that. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Karina. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, me too. So for those people who don't know anything about you, would you like to just explain a little bit what you do and who you are and
Yeah.
where you live now?
Yeah. Okay, well, my name's Joanna and I live in Tokyo in Japan. And I work with open minded people who are looking to explore the mystical realms and people that believe that there is more to life than this. And so I help people to connect with angels and mermaids and really to help them feel like a mermaid,
Oh, wow.
to embrace that inner feminine wisdom and the sensuality of the mermaids.
Wow, that's really interesting. So can you tell us a little bit more about this mermaid journey? How did you discover your connection to mermaids and can you like describe it a little bit? Because it sounds
Yeah,
interesting, but I don't have any really direct experience from like
yeah.
working with mermaids.
So my first real connection with the mermaids started when I was taking part in a guided meditation on a Reiki course, and so I was there on a course to do with Reiki. And during my guided meditation, I just had these really strong images of a mermaid connecting with me, and I was like, "What's going on here? Like, what does
Yeah.
this mean?" Um, but it was, to be honest, it was probably the most profound meditation experience I've ever had. It just felt so clear. And so I just couldn't ignore it. I just wanted to know more. I wanted to understand why this was happening. And I also wanted to have that feeling again because I felt really good. So I started researching mermaids. I started researching different mystical realms and reading about all different kinds of things. But wherever I went, whatever kind of self-help course I did, the mermaid image just kept coming back to me. So I thought, okay, I've got to like keep going with this and explore it some more. So it's really just evolved organically into what it is now.
Wow, that's really interesting. And it's funny how certain images keep popping up
Yeah,
in different places
yeah.
because I don't think that's like a standard Reiki
No.
image, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just different courses I was doing on to do with other things as well and other meditation courses. I kept getting this um, image over and over again, and I just thought I can't ignore this because it keeps coming up.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, it definitely has a message whenever it keeps repeating itself as well.
Yeah,
And so, because I know that on your website you have a kit, like a mermaid kit, and when
I
I saw
do.
that, I was thinking, wow, I haven't seen that anywhere else, because there's so many different spiritual realms and different spiritual like types of energies that you can connect with, but I've never really seen a lot about mermaids. So um, how do you connect with other people who are really into mermaids? And is there like a common link or connection or something?
At the moment, I haven't seen any other kits like this out there. There may well be, I just haven't seen them. It's really the kit that I would like to do is what I've put together. So,
Mm.
and it's really about my personal journey, about things that have helped me to connect with my inner mermaid and the things that help me to feel like a mermaid. And so it's an ebook that has all my kind of tips and a bit about my story. And then I have recorded a meditation in there to help people to feel like a mermaid. And I think that all women have this side of them that wants to feel like the typical mermaid. You know, she's very sensuous, she's very beautiful, she's very happy in her own body. And she also has like half of her is in the human world and half of her is in the spiritual world. And I think that as modern women, a lot of us can relate to trying to balance those two different parts of ourselves.
Mm. Wow, yeah, that's really interesting. The half being in the spiritual world and half in the physical. That really resonates for me. But I never
Oh,
thought of mermaids like that. I was always thinking, the classical mermaid stories.
yeah,
And I know
yeah,
that there's so much more to it as well. And the element of water and that whole,
yes,
like a different, yeah, living in two different worlds as well and trying to balance
yeah,
that and finding our authentic selves in that
yeah, yeah.
thing as well. And so you're really into mermaids. I know that you work a lot with angels as well, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you like to share a bit about that journey as well?
Yeah, so while I was on this kind of path of exploring self healing and different mystical realms, I came across the work of Diana Cooper. And so I started reading her books. And I've always been interested in Atlantis and the different legends around Atlantis, which is how I came across Diana's work. And then I saw all the angel books and I thought, oh, yeah, I'm quite interested in that. And I just kept buying all these angel books and reading all about them. And then I went to an event with Diana in London. And during that event, I heard the angels singing. And I thought it was my imagination. I thought, what's that noise? You know, it's a really lovely noise. And I thought, oh, maybe it's a CD or maybe that, I don't know. I just thought it was something else. And I think
Yeah.
we all can relate to trying to pass these experiences off as something that is in our imagination.
Mm.
And then Diana was said, did anyone else just hear that? And I was like, oh, I heard it. I heard it. So, so it really, for me, that was really a pivotal moment where I thought, that there's something to this, and I just started reading more and more about the angels and learning about how to connect them and doing all these different courses and things. And again, it's something that just keeps coming back to me that I just can't seem to get away from.
Mm. Yeah.
So yeah,
Ah,
so
that's
I'm
so
way
interesting.
more and more these days. Yeah.
Mm. And do you find that you use like your connection with angels or with mermaids in specific like areas because you're working or you're doing a guided meditation, or do you use it in your everyday life, like in a practical or sort of down to earth as a part of
Yeah.
your everyday life?
Yeah, both really.
Yeah.
In terms of my day-to-day life, I think that for me, the angels provide me with a sense of comfort and also protection. If I'm feeling unsure about a situation or what I should do, then I ask the angels to help me, and I always feel that that gives me great comfort. And the other thing I love about them is that it makes me feel good to know that there is someone else in charge because sometimes things happen and we don't really understand what's happening in our life and why things are happening the way they are. And just knowing that there is actually a divine plan for all of us
Mm.
um, really, really gives me a great deal of a sense of peace
Mm.
and acceptance.
Oh, that's really beautiful. And the sense of like surrendering to something bigger.
Yeah,
Like you do your work
definitely.
and then you go, okay, I'm just leaving this with you because this is so big. I don't get it all. Just
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah, yeah, and then I mean, in terms of the mermaids, in my personal life, it has helped, or they've helped me to really embrace myself as a woman, to embrace my sensuality, to embrace like the feminine rhythms of my life. So working with moon cycles, really being in the flow, like being in the water,
mm,
swimming along really powerfully. Uh, and so I think they've helped me enormously with my self confidence.
mm. Wow, that's really beautiful. I love how you get these practices to really help you in your life. Because sometimes I
Yeah,
find that for me, sometimes my spiritual practices is like separate,
yeah,
and then I do
yeah,
my everyday work, everyday life stuff, and I don't always integrate it so well. And I think it's so beautiful when you can use both parts and really help them merge so that your life as a whole is better and you
yeah.
feel better or you're happier or so that it can really help you with yeah, like everything in life, really.
Yeah, I mean, I that's what I loved about the question that you asked me before, Karina, before we
Mm-hmm.
actually spoke online, was to define spirit and what is spirit, and I just love this question. I thought, wow, it's a really big question, but for me, it got me thinking about how it's not separate from us. It's something that's within all of us, and I think that it's really good for people to know that, because sometimes we're always striving for something that's we think is way up there and it's really external, when in fact it's in us the whole time. It's just that
Mm-hmm.
we don't always know how to tap into it.
Mm. Oh yeah, that's a beautiful explanation as well. Because yeah, it's not necessarily out there
Or up
or up
there.
here. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that's great. And so how do you communicate with spirit? I guess spirit can be a lot, like inside, outside, everything.
Yeah,
But how would
yeah.
you say that you communicate with spirit for yourself?
I think for me, when I feel connected to spirit, it's whenever I feel like energy or spirit is moving through me, and that can happen in so many different ways. So, for example, it can be a really basic thing like going swimming. When I go swimming, I feel like I'm doing a kind of a meditation, I'm like swimming along and I
Mm-hmm.
really get in the zone. And so I think other people find it through dance, through even running, where you're just totally like feeling the energy move through you, and you just get this sense of feeling. You're like, yes, that's it. That's the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Maybe painting is another one. Is another. I like to paint, and I feel like when I'm painting, I'm connecting with spirit. When I'm writing, uh, other things might be singing. All those kind of things, I think, are really practical ways of people discovering their connection with spirit.
Mm. Ah, that's great. Yeah, it's true that creative expressions are just so because we kind of um we kind of let go of our minds for a while, and we're just in this sort of something to do with joy and letting go, and maybe moving our bodies, even if it's only our arms because we're painting. Then it's just
Yeah,
being in the moment as well. Because when
yeah,
you're swimming, you're only swimming. You can't really do a
yeah.
lot of other things. So that's really
Yeah.
great, and it's so down to earth as well, right?
Yeah, and I think it just like gets you out of that state where you're thinking all the time about different things, because you become so focused on what you're doing, that you're just allowing it to move through you.
Hmm. Yeah, that's really beautiful. Yeah, that's true. It's just like you're a part of this whole
Yeah.
something. Okay, great.
That's
Well,
why I
thank
think
you.
it's such a great question.
Well,
Like the
thank you.
something.
I'm trying to ask the questions that I would like to know about. I'm thinking, so what does spirit really mean to different people? And
Uh,
how do we communicate with this? Because I think we all do in our own ways, and for some people
yeah.
it can probably be really elaborate, and for some it's really down to earth. So yeah, so just trying to pick your brain, or or probably more like your heart or your soul, I think, because your brain is probably well.
I know it's been a great exercise actually to think about it, because I think that we all think we know what it is, and then when someone asks us to describe it or put words to it, it becomes really challenging.
Mm.
You're like, what is it?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. So interesting. It'll be really interesting to see how different people really
Yeah,
relate to
I'm
that question.
excited to see that. I'm excited.
We'll see how that goes. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat today.
I've enjoyed
And
it.
where can people find you if they want to download their own mermaid kit?
Yeah.
And where can they
So you
find
can
you?
You can find me. My website is joannamary.com, JoannaMary.com, and I'm on Facebook. So my Facebook like page name is Joanna Mermaid,
Great.
and so is my YouTube. That's also Joanna Mermaid. And if you're interested to hear more messages from the mermaids, you can see my seasonal card readings, which I love doing. And I'm also on Twitter. Again, that's Joanna Mermaid as well.
Yeah, and the readings are really great. I love watching those because they're so beautiful and joyful, and the cards are always so spot on. So
They
yeah,
are.
so
Uh,
so
yeah.
get in touch with Joanna Mary on YouTube as well because those are great. And well, tthank you very much, and have a
Thank you,
beautiful
Karina.
night then in Tokyo.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.